Hello, computer scientist. We just got done with our kind of round sprite, our basic sprite that we worked on, and mine was a moon. I know your guys' are a bunch of different things, so that was just a round sprite. Now I'm going to ask us to get a little bit more detailed in our sprite. So I'm going to choose the space shuttle for mine. And so what I'm going to need you to do is make that space shuttle sprite folder, whatever yours might be called, obviously with a dash and a sprite after it. So we can keep our space shuttle sprites files separate from our moon sprite. So you want to make sure, again, file management, you take a look at your breadcrumbs and see where you're at. I'm going to open up my space shuttle. I can see now that I'm in my space shuttle sprite. I'm not in my moon sprite. That's going to be very important for you to see where you're at along your breadcrumbs. Now, I went and created these 3 new folders, very similar to what we have in our other folders, our raw, our GIMP, and our final editing compressed for at folders. So please make these. Now, mine are empty right now, but they won't be for long. As I mentioned, you guys want to find a space shuttle. So I went to one of my free resources that I've given you in Schoology. If you need to find others, please do. Typed in space shuttle, and I'm going to look for it. And this is the space shuttle I want to use for my project here. And I'm going to go ahead and choose free download. Again, you're going to come up with a bunch of different options if it doesn't pop up right away. So work through that. We've seen that before. I'm going to right click on this image and choose save image as. Where am I going to put this? Yes, in my space shuttle sprite. I've navigated that far into my raw image, and please rename this. Please do not keep its given name, space shuttle. All right, and that is going to be in a JPEG format. That's just fine, and choose save. And it now has downloaded, and I believe is probably in the right location. Let's take a look. And there it is. Let me open it up. Yes, there is my space shuttle image right there. Beautiful. So now what I'm going to do, you guys, is go to my GIMP application, open that up, and I'm going to simply drag my space shuttle right into there. Now you guys know what to do. Very first thing, file, save as, and we are going to put this into our GIMP folder. Again, look at your breadcrumbs. This looks a little bit different than our other file management because we are in GIMP. I'm on my desktop. I'm in my see-through, my space shuttle sprite. Make sure you're in the right sprite. And now I'm in my GIMP folder, space shuttle.xcf. XCF is our native format for our GIMP application. And choose save. Double check yourself. Make sure it is in your GIMP. So again, I'm looking across my breadcrumbs. Boom, there it is. Awesome. Now, you guys, we need to get some options open. If yours are not open already, you definitely need your toolbox. We'll always need that. We're definitely going to need, I think you know what? I know what we need. Our dockable dialogues. We need our tool options. We're going to want this open also. So those 2 things we definitely need open. So you guys, I'm at 33% of this image. I'm going to use my control key, and I'm going to well, actually, you know what? The first thing I'm going to do before I do that, crop it. Let's get rid of stuff that we don't need. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom. I think I want to keep that explosion at the end and click, and then maybe get a little bit more detailed here. Again, you can scroll in and even look here. All right, I'm not touching my wing or getting rid of any of that over there. Let me take a look at this. Oh, I need to pull this over a little bit so I don't get rid of any of the wing. Let's take a look at the bottom here. Again, I zoomed in using my control. Oh, see, I would have missed the tip of the, I believe that's a fuel cell there. Has a lot of fuel inside of that. So crop what we don't need. Press your enter key. Bring it down to that size. All right. And Control S. We're going to be saving quite frequently. I'm going to then blow this up. I'm down to 25%. I just want to see it a little bit more so I can increase the size there. And I can always move around the object. So now, you guys, I'm going to choose this tool here. We've seen this before in our last exercise. Holding my shift key down, I'm going to start clicking. Now, I don't know if I want to get rid of some of that stuff in between there. Possibly. But when I start getting down here, that's when I'm starting to get into my space shuttle. I'm going to Control Z right there. I don't want to really get into that. I get into my white, I get into my space shuttle. So that tool works well for some of it, not all of it. I'm going to press my delete key. All right, what I'm going to do here is try my best to click on this, but as soon as I click on this black color, look it, I'm getting into my image, into my rockets and stuff like that. I want to undo that. So that's about as far as I'm going to be able to get into this. And so right away, I'm going to do a colors, color to alpha. We're going to add those other bits of data and choose OK. I now have some transparency channel there, but I got a lot of work to do, all right? So here we go. I'm going to do a Control S right there. I need to use now my eraser tool. All right, that brings up my tool options. But what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to kind of show us how we can adjust that given that we have some very intricate things to go around here. For example, this, we do not want this kind of in our image, so I may finish my wing kind of right here and get around that. It's very detailed. This I probably don't need, but I want my rocket booster. So what if I need to get into my rocket booster? I'm scrolling right in, and I need to get this. But look at my tool. If I start clicking, oh, that's right, you guys. I forgot. I can't select anything in here because I still have things. It thinks that I'm selecting things inside of this area. Go to your select, choose none. Now, if you will, I'm going to blow that way up, and you can start to see your pixels. And I don't need this big of a tool here. You can see I can't get in there. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go up to the size of my pen, if you will, and my brush even. I'm going to change this to this style here, and I'm going to bring this down, maybe down to like, let me take a look. I might even need it smaller than that. And again, I'm just scrolling down with my scroll mouse with me on top of that, and 5 pixels, that might do, getting around that. Coming here and getting along that wing there and getting these things out of there. All right. So you probably are going to be working on decreasing your pen sizes a little bit as you're working on getting around, in my case, these rocket boosters and stuff like that. You want to be pretty detailed. And again, you're going to want to pick up your mouse once in a while or let go of your mouse and then start again, because if you accidentally go into here, Control Z, you only have to redo that little bit. And so this gets kind of difficult to see what all you need to get rid of, but I'm going to let you guys be the artist and get pretty detailed and get rid of these things. And so now that I've kind of gone around here, I might want to increase the size of this to get rid of more pixels at one time. And so, you know, you use it, the intricate one, the smaller one, to get in there, and then maybe adjust the bigger size for that. So now let me go ahead and undo this and take a look at that. Now you can really see that rocket booster coming into play a little bit more. And again, I may want to get rid of along here. So I'm just going to work for a little bit and show you guys me going in and adjusting my pen size so that way I can get a little bit more detail. Now if I want to choose maybe with a little bit of blur here, so that way I can have a little bit more of an area for me messing up a little bit, if you will. So I'm going to choose this and go all the way around here, and I'm still going to work through here. Now, really I've had students work where they've taken a hand or something like that and really needed to work between the fingers and stuff. Like I say, when you start getting into those tight areas, don't forget to adjust your pen size. I'm going to jack this way up, and now since I've got rid of that, you know what, I'm even going to go up more than that, and I am going to change this to a more solid color, and that way, you know what, I think I made that into an oblong shape by adjusting that accidentally. And you can see I can't get up into there. Let me try without, okay, it looks like I am able to without, oh, see, now I got up into here. So that's where I would have to undo that, and I'd have to zoom in and probably adjust my pen size there and bring that down so I can get into that corner to get rid of those pixels right there. So just working through. I went too far there as well. Your Control Z, you're going to be using that a lot, so you're going to be detailed. Again, as I move out, you can start to see where things are starting to come into play. I'm going to increase this way up, so that way, you know what, I'm even going to go more than that, and start taking out all these pixels here that I don't need. Again, I'm going to be a little bit more detailed through these areas, and I might be pretty good with that even. But when you start getting into, again, around the rocket boosters and stuff like that, you're going to be you want to get really detailed. So again, I need to get up into here, right? So I'm going to scroll that up. There's no way. You can't even see the size of it at a 64 point. So let me jump down here. You can actually start to see those pixels. I'm at 13. I'm going to have to bring it down. This is 1 pixel at a time. So maybe 10. Maybe 10 can get into there and get rid of those pixels there. And I'm just working through this. Okay, let me see what's going on there. Now, you probably saw that it turned white there because with that alpha channel, it's a little hard to do that. But as I scroll out, then you can see. So some of you are going to want to get a little bit more detailed into this. And you may want to get up into, between here even to be transparent. What would you do? Again, you would scroll up. You would really work on getting your control key and maybe moving up a little bit and getting those out. Now I can't get along here. I'd have to bring my pen size down and work through here. So again, some of you are going to be wanting to get really detailed and getting that to look nice. I suggest it and work through those pixels that you do not need. We are getting rid of them. So that way it looks really cool in your app and stuff. Again, this is just going to be trial and error, lifting up your pen once in a while and seeing what you're doing. I'm going to bring this down, and now, like I say, you can really see some separation between your actual rocket there. So I'm going to do that around all of this stuff. It's going to take me a little bit. All right, it's going to be easier for me to get around this area, but again, once you start getting into those more intricate areas, it is going to get a little bit more difficult. Please make sure you are scrolling in, changing your pen sets, maybe even changing your different ones. Don't use all these, but these 3 right here will definitely be used quite a bit. Excuse me. And start to erase those things. If for some reason you're wondering why I can do this and you can't, please scrub your video back and then take a look and see some of the things that I had to do before I got to this point in dealing with turning things off, getting to what I need to do, and all this good stuff. So again, as I'm scrolling out, I'm starting to see my pen a little bit more in detail. I want to get rid of these other things here, so I'm going to increase that. You know what? I can increase this a whole bunch. Now that I've been more detailed, I can get around that. All right, you guys. So I'm going to pause this real quick. I'm going to continue editing this and show you what it looks like when I'm all done. All right, you guys, I'm back. I worked on editing my image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to increase it. So as you can see, you guys, I got very detailed. I actually came in between my rocket boosters, if you will, and taking out stuff from there. Down below here, I went into here and I got as much stuff as I could get out of there. So I was pretty detailed. So make sure you spend some time, again, adjusting your brush size and everything and getting into those detailed areas. And don't forget, you can change your brush strokes. Again, these 3 are going to be very useful. With that, you guys, I need to check to see if I missed any pixels around. Sometimes you can't see pixels that are out here that you might have missed. So we're going to do our first export. So File, Export As. We want to export as a PNG, absolutely, because we added that alpha layer of transparency. Now I'm going to put this not in my GIMP folder. I'm going back to my breadcrumbs. I'm in my Space Shuttle Sprite, and I'm going to do my final editing for app, you guys. And I'm just going to put it there for right now. I'm going to delete it eventually, but I'm going to do it there. Don't forget to turn off your save color values from transparent pixels and choose Export. So it's doing its magic right now. And so if I go to my folder for that, Space Shuttle, Final, and I'm going to open this up now. And as I see here, this kind of is nice because it brings in black and white. I've missed a couple pixels. I see a pixel there, or something to that effect, some color there. I also, if I can drag this up, I see some color here, 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 and here. Now again, I may not necessarily be able to see that on this here, so that's why I like to export that and take a look at it. So then I have this picture up here. Let me go back to my GIMP and maybe increase and try to look at the coordinates, if you will, to kind of see. And